Good to have you here. Welcome to Copenhagen.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we in Copenhagen or a little bit outside the Copenhagen?
A little bit outside, half an hour if you were driving, but I know that you didn't drive.
I didn't drive,
No.
I took the train.
Yes.
It is amazing. Like, no one checks the tickets in Denmark.
Yeah, I think you're right most of the times, but
Yes.
we do have those checkups and controls. Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I flew in the Copenhagen and I saw a ticket machine. And okay, I bought a ticket machine and the travel was so easy to Copenhagen Center.
Good.
No one ever checked. You didn't have to check in your ticket. Yes.
Got it. During the night time, it's sometimes different. But yeah, we trust. We have a lot of trust.
Lots of trust. Like, for example, you would go to France, to the Paris, and you would see the underground. Have you been in Paris?
Yeah.
And you know that they have big shields.
That's true.
And people, even then, people manage jumping over them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it tells a lot about Denmark.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So can you introduce yourself, please?
I can. Yeah, my name is Thomas, and you probably know that, and you know it at least. And I'm 44 years old. I have 4 kids from the age of 5 to 17 soon. And yeah, I've been in the domain and hosting industry for 25 years. So that's a lot of years. Yeah, and I live in Copenhagen, in Denmark, and right now, and we will probably be speaking about that. I lead the Niki.me, a crypto company
that we also use. So good evening, good afternoon, everyone. I can see that Joseph. Okay, Joseph. Hey.
Hi, Joseph.
Hello. Hello. Joseph is from the States. Yes.
Got it.
So welcome everyone, and we are continuing DN Forum streams all about these life stories of our industry people. And the thing is, we'll be having a personal connection, talk one-to-one, and later on you can ask your questions and or say hello, and I will put them on the screen, and Thomas will answer them.
I'll try to answer them. Yeah.
And mostly why you should know Thomas. How long were you COO of one?
I was that until 2019, starting in 2007. Yeah.
That's 12 years.
Yes, true.
That's a C-level of one of the leading European hosting and domain name companies.
True, yes.
How did you get in there?
That was a blast. Yeah, so that's a long story, but I guess we have some time. Yeah, so back in the early 2000s, I founded the company B-1 together with a former high school classmate of mine. We wanted to. We had a history with hosting before us, a couple of years before us, but we wanted to bring a product to market that had first of all, a lower price compared to the competitive products at that time, but also that were even more packaged together, more bundled in the way, understood in the way that at that time when you bought a domain name and the hosting, you got the domain name and then you got an email, maybe, or in some other ways you got your FTP password. Yes. But we wanted to bundle that together in a way where we had some services on top of that, helping you on how to set up your email account and how to get started with that, how to get started with building your websites based on templates and so on and so forth. So we wanted to make...
and which year was it?
That was back in 2000.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. And we founded that company, and a couple of years after I was out of the company, my shares were sold, and I went out did some other ventures.
So for 2 years?
Yeah, for a couple of years, I was a part of the company. Then I was out between 2002, 3-ish until 7. And then in 2007, the company had grew itself bigger. Yes. It had 300,000-ish customers at that point. Yeah, that was a medium-sized hosting company, sized hosting company. primarily with the focus on Denmark and Sweden.
Yes.
And they were in the need of someone to run the Danish side of the offices, the Danish office, together with some other managers there. And I was asked to rejoin as a C-level at that time.
Oh, so you actually formed that company? Were you 50-50 partners in the very beginning?
Yeah, true. Yes.
So then it was -1 something, yes?
Yeah, B-1.
B1. B1. And then they bought you out. They grew to 300,000 people. Of course, they started building. And at which point did they change their name?
That was changed 1 year after I returned, as to the best of my memory. Okay. So around 2008, 2009, the company at that time wanted to address more markets outside of the Nordics. Okay. And again, we met this confusion about our name and the domain name. Our thoughts on that name was go to us to be one online.
Yes.
Not everyone got that, understandable. And at the time,
it is too complicated.
True.
Yes.
and at that time, the company got an opportunity to buy the domain name one.com, which is obviously an interesting domain name. Now we are talking to domain people. And,
how much did you pay for it?
So even if I knew, I wouldn't be able to disclose here. But
something else.
I wouldn't be able to. To guess, but you can have your best guess. Also, the viewers here could have your best guess. But definitely, that was a valuable domain name also at the time being. But it was also a way for us to really mark our place in the industry and as a central partner, a player to go to for online services.
So, how do you enter a company as a COO that has 300,000? So, do you remember that time?
Yeah. Or at least the past couple of days where I have been thinking about what I've been doing throughout the years, those memories came back to me. And how do you enter? I mean, it was. I had some strings still attached to the company. I did in the years before I rejoined. I did help them with some recruitment, for example. Okay. I did have a huge network within the industry at that time, so I did help recruiting some of the specialists that were crucial for being able to build and scale the company at the time. So I did already know some of the people there, but of course it was a matter of going in, trying to communicate the vision that I had for how to scale a company at that time within hosting.
What was it?
For me, I think there's a couple of pillars that I think is crucial for hosting companies, and I think actually we will see that those pillars will be crucial also in the years to come, because in the past 5, maybe up until 10 years, there have been a huge focus on acquisitions in this industry, and companies have been growing bigger and bigger and bigger. But that's another talk. But I think one of the things that are missing in many of those companies are the ability to act innovative on your product development. So being innovative in finding out what services should we bundle into to the product offerings to these hosting customers in order to attract them.
For example?
So, for example, at that time, in the early 2000s or in 2007 when I came back as well, it was still a huge issue, and this will sound a little bit funny maybe for people today because it's not like that at all today. But at that time, it was difficult to figure out how to build a website. Maybe WordPress was just about to be a thing there, but even after WordPress was
Joomla was quite big then.
It was, that's correct. Yeah. But even with Joomla and with WordPress, you would still need a certain level of technical understanding and experience.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, a lot of people don't. A lot of people want to have a website. A lot of small businesses, solo entrepreneurs, they want to have a website, but they are not skilled within that. They are skilled within doing what they do best, like carpenters or people cutting hair in their saloon. And they are skilled at that, but they are not skilled at building websites. So one of the things that we wanted to innovate on was to built up, we developed a tool ourselves internally in one.com, a tool you could use as a customer to build your online presence, your website. Putting it together.
So site builder.
Easy. A site builder, but at that time, site builders wasn't a thing. I know that was why I said it might sound a bit funny nowadays, but at that time, site builders wasn't a thing. So we built this site builder. You could drag and drop elements from using a template, drag and drop elements, and you could build up a site. And that was a huge innovation at the time. And things like that. And I have other examples, but that was important. Then the second thing, which I think is crucial as well, is the ability. Of course, this is a low margin game, but it's the ability to do customer service at a level where everyone, no matter what technical level they are on, feels that they get the help they need in order to set up their website to begin with, but also in order to keep on maintaining it, solving whatever issues comes up, because issues comes up. So figuring out how can we have a customer support team that at a limited cost are able to help the customers figuring out how to use the product.
And customer support is really tricky.
It is.
Like really tricky. It is easy to implement customer support, like 24/7 customer support, when you have those 300,000 customers. Now I can see you smiling.
Yeah,
and I'm smiling inside as well, because that is one of my problems.
Yeah.
And what do you plan to do with Nikki?
In terms of customer support?
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up, because that is something that
should be on your mind,
and it's definitely on my mind and on our minds in general. And right now, Nikki is a small venture at the time being.
And it's fabulous. Seriously, I have tried so many cryptocurrency checkouts. Oh God, thank you.
Well, thank you.
I know your pricing, and that will be my problem later on. But at the moment, oh God, people come, they make the payments, and system logs them, finds them, and automatically updates the WHMCS user. Oh God, finally there is one solution. I haven't seen yet another solution that does the work so easy and that does it at all.
Cool.
So really good job.
I know that we have competitors in this space, but the fact that we are world agnostic is something that I know that many appreciate. I think that we have succeeded in making it easy as well. Of course, stepping into Nikki, I've taken all of those experiences about making the flow easy for the customers to understand, and the customer service. Back to your question on that.
On customer support, yes.
Because right now, as mentioned, we are a small venture, and right now I do the customer support.
Yes.
So I'm the customer support. No matter if it's a Sunday, you have been writing me during the weekends, and thanks for that, because that's perfect. Because the thing about customer support is that you want your customers, or at least it should be on your mind every day, to make the customers succeed. Because if you didn't succeed in putting together or configuring your Nikki for your companies, you would not be a customer with us for a very long time. So that's the thing about the mindset that you need to have with customer support, that it's not a burden. It shouldn't be seen as a burden. It should be seen as an opportunity for you to move your customers from here and up until where they get it.
Where they succeed with your solution. Yes.
And obviously it doesn't scale, even though I love customer support a lot. We can talk about an anecdote maybe later, or we can take it now. A short anecdote every year at one.com, we had of course we had a Christmas celebration, and we had offices all around the world, and I was in the Danish office, and when our office in India and in Dubai we had primarily customer support. Later moved to the Philippines, but that's another story. But when those guys were going out for their Christmas celebration, that they did that usually in January, And at the time, the support team in Denmark needed to take over the 24/7 English chat support for the period of time where all of our colleagues in Dubai were meeting up and having fun.
Okay, yes.
And every year, I helped putting that together, and we got people to stay there at the Danish office during the nighttime, which was not something that would happen anytime else during the year. But every year I joined them for that 24-hour support session, because first of all, to show them that I could give a hand as well when we were to help our colleagues in Dubai. But that is just like a manager thing. I think that is important to show. But putting that aside, it gave me a lot to join that support and to be a part of that support, and being a part of it was not talking because it was online chat, being a part of writing with the customers, because and I did it during the year as well in daytime, because it moved your mind from something strategic into something not only practical, but really real, day-to-day real, seeing those issues, hearing from that customer that
from their eyes, from them,
about the challenges that they had, even though we had great guides and all of that, they still had challenges, and hearing that challenge, those challenges directly was a huge win for me to take that time to do that. So back to Nikki, I think it's very important now. Of course, I have a lot to do with our product development.
Was that the funny story? Yes.
Yeah, that was the anecdote. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that is really good. Yes.
It was a lot of fun. Yes. It was a lot of fun, but it was also a learnful experience. But back to Nikki, I handle the customer support now, and having a lot to do with the product development in this early stage of our company makes it really important as well that I know what is it that the challenges that the customers are facing, because you can take those, when you are a small company, you can really take those challenges one by one into the meetings with your software developers, find solutions with your product team and your software developers, not because we are to solve that one client's issues, but because that one client has the same issues similar to a lot of other clients. So you can, being a close part to the customer support, even handling it like I do now, gives me so much valuable feedback that I can use on a daily basis. So I do the support now, but obviously it doesn't scale. And you asked about...
It absolutely doesn't.
No.
And I can tell you a story. So at some point I had five people on customer support for Host Maria.
Yeah.
And then I fired all of them, but that's a different one. Well,
a story for another time.
That's for another time, yes. But one of the guys who took the job most serious, he overburned. And previously in the past, he had alcohol problems.
Okay.
And he started drinking. So you can burn out.
Yes.
And I feel personally responsible for that. I can't do anything about it. And he's still bitter towards me. And I took it as a big lesson, as a big life lesson, that employees cannot overburn. So what about yourself? How long do you plan to do the support yourself?
Yeah, so I don't, it's not a big...
it comes with a price also.
Yeah, that's true. But it's not a big challenge for me now. And we have in our team been putting thoughts into, how to move this to the next level, because I really see this as levels in your growth. So right now we are at a level where we have limited customer acquisition, and we are building the last parts of our product. We have customers on now, we are gaining traction and all of this, and then the next level will be a growth level where we will have to hire in, for example, customer support and other people as well. And then we have been putting, of course, thoughts into how to do customer support from now on. And I think being available is very important. So having the email is obvious, but also having an online chat that works, and maybe not to begin with 24/7, but then at least all
office hours, yes.
And we will probably also have support on. We have a Telegram community which is big within crypto, in the crypto space. We'll probably have some level of support there as well.
Discord?
And Discord, maybe we don't have that at the time.
I hate it.
Yeah,
but crypto guys love it.
Yeah. I have noticed. I mean, for me, Discord
it's great, but
I have never, to be very honest,
such a time sucker.
I have never used Discord. It was something that my son, who's 14, he uses Discord when he plays online computer games. But I have not. But I have noticed that it's big in crypto.
It's huge.
spaces.
Yes.
So it's a matter of building a team that can serve these different platforms, and making sure that team is capable of answering as many inquiries as at all possible. And
so now, when is the CloudFest?
That is in the middle of March.
Middle of March. So we have less than 2 months. Let us say we have 2 months to CloudFest, and you just shared with me before the conversation that you will have a booth. Is it okay that we said it?
For sure, definitely. Yeah, we'll have a booth at CloudFest.
May I ask you, how do you prepare for it? And
that's a good question. I think the first important thing to do is to acknowledge that you need to prepare for it. So as you just said, because
absolutely,
I mean, you could order that booth and then
that is one of the biggest mistakes I see. People just get their booth and they think, bang, now the things will happen.
Exactly.
No, that is actually when you have to work and.
That's so true. And when you visit an event, and both of us are regularly visiting these big events, you can see when you walk around in those event areas, booth areas, who have prepared and who hasn't, because there are those people who just sits at the booth looking at their phone all day. And that's just a waste of money. So back to what we did, we have set a clear goal that we want to sign up 1,000 users on Niki during that event. That's a bold goal.
Okay, 1,000 users.
1,000, yes. And we want to do that because we are ready now to take those leaps up. And the people who are visiting CloudFest, they are those are our ideal customer profiles.
Yes,
all of them.
All of them. Yes,
it's a great fit for what
both
we do.
As users and consumers.
Exactly.
Yes.
So of course we want to sign up a lot of those guys as resellers of the product as well, but that's another story. But we want 1,000 users, and what we have done is that we have put together a team, me and my colleague Morten, and our co-CEO Lars, and we work together on figuring out what concept, what story is it that we want to come to CloudFest with, so that we are very clear in the communication about what is Niki, because Niki is a lot of different things. And at an event like that, I think it's very important that you narrow it down so that you have one very clear communication towards
clear message as well. Yes.
So we have done that, and we have tried to come up with a concept about what, instead of just dragging along a lot of swag like caps and drinking bottles and all of that stuff, we had to again try to narrow it down. Okay, could we come up with something that is connected to what we do, and that the users can actually use together with our product? And we have come up with that, and now we need to visit our booth to figure out what it is, right? But we have come up with that kind of concept for how we're going to run the booth. And then we have hired in the necessary staff, obviously, and we have put together the design of the booth, relatively simple, so it will look like the booth we had at ICANN Istanbul, but so it will be relatively simple, and then that's it. So the most important part for us was to prepare the message and the concept for what it is that we want to do.
So you are planning to get ideal aim is to get 1,000 users.
That's true. Yeah.
And do you plan to sign them?
Yes, at the booth.
At the booth.
Yeah.
Do you already have follow-up strategies? Look, one of my biggest issues is when I'm being exhibitor myself, I suck at being like really. When I'm an exhibitor, I always go after one client only.
Yep.
So for me, I'm dead serious. I have this goal: get one good client.
Yes.
just one good client, nothing else. Everything else is bonus. But I miss out so much on the
opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
follow-ups.
The follow-ups are crucial. What we do is that we put up an automation around that.
Yes.
So we automate the follow-ups afterwards, making sure that all the users that are signed up at during the event receive follow-up emails. Since we want to sign them up during the event, the follow-up emails are more a part of the onboarding. And not so much about getting them to say yes to be signed up. So it's more about the onboarding part. We have prepared that as well, not specifically for CloudFest, but in general. And then the product, the offering that we bring to CloudFest, and that's a part of the concept that I talked about before, that we have narrowed down to what is it that those visitors visiting CloudFest, what is it that they can use from all the things that we offer, and we have put together.
How do you plan to sign them up? I'm just curious about if you already know the software or something.
Yeah, so they will go directly into our sign up page on a device on the booth, and they will sign up. And a part of that sign up is a part of the swag that we are giving out. So I can't come into on that in our conversation, but it's connected. So you get a thing from us, and you are signed up, and all you need to give us is your email and your name. Nikki is essentially for everyone a free product, and you can use it for free until you reach a certain threshold. So that means that we don't need people to accept to sign up to a subscription or give us their credit card information. So that makes it a lot easier. And then, of course, it's up to us again to, as I said before, get them fully onboarded so that we're sure that they get started using it. And you know the story of all that. But that's
okay. That's hopefully it's okay that I'm torturing you. I'm just super curious.
Yes.
So you were CEO for 12 years.
COO, yeah.
You rejoined when it had 300,000.
Yes.
Then a year later, you guys bought one.com.
Yeah, true.
And 11 years later, what was the situation?
11 years later, in 2018, 19, something like that, we had at that point 1.5 million users, customers.
Okay,
that's quite a lot. Huge organization.
How big is the organization at?
350 employees, I think. 350. I was still at the Danish office. We had an office in Dubai, in India, for software development, and the customer support division was recently moved from Dubai to Cebu in the Philippines.
Okay.
And I traveled to Cebu. That was a great time, by the way. I traveled to Cebu for 6 months, building up that support organization, sales and support organization.
Wow.
That was I've never been to Cebu before. Before that, and those people living there are just amazingly friendly.
Filipinos have established that, I don't know, there is a reason why so many Americans use them.
As customers
and Europeans as well. Yes.
Yeah, they are extremely friendly.
Extremely friendly people, very helpful, and like super reliable. Yes, something the same I found with Nepalese.
Yeah, I do.
But that's
I don't have any experience in that.
So you went there for 6 months?
Yes, building up the team of we had a lot of Philippine supporters, colleagues working for us in Dubai, and we offered them to basically transfer their position to the Philippines when we wanted to move.
To relocate?
Yes.
And to relocate to keep the same wages?
Yeah.
And to be close to their families?
Exactly.
They were over the moon?
They were.
Oh,
most of them.
Yes.
There were a couple of them leaving the company during that transition, but it was I would say that was a success.
Yes.
And the reasons why we decided to make that move was primarily because it was increasingly difficult at that time, and I think it's still the case, to be able to hire in Philippine workers in Dubai because the living expenses in Dubai were doing like that.
Yes.
And we weren't able to, with a cost that fit into our business model, we weren't able to continue with the support.
Absolutely, yes.
So we decided to move it, but instead of just letting everyone go, which would have been a problem in several ways, because first of all, we would lose all the knowledge that we had, which would be a huge problem. But secondly,
it's a huge investment to build up
it is.
Yes.
And secondly, of course, many of these people we have been working together with for 5 and 10 years, and they were a part of the One.com family. So we wanted to make sure that no one was just left behind, because we needed to make that business decision. And luckily, the majority was thinking that was a good move, and they moved there. And I moved down a couple of months or half a year after, building up the sales and win-back team of European employees, actually, moving to Cebu to do call center win-back activities. So all the customers that had already decided to leave their subscription at One.com or were being selected by our data model to be probably possible to cancel their subscription, we would call those guys and say, okay, how are your subscription going? Are you happy with what you have with One.com, Helmut? And are there anything we can help with? Are there things that you are missing? And those conversations were valuable in multiple ways, because of course they were valuable in terms of us being able to save some of these customers that would have otherwise canceled. And the acquisition costs in the hosting business, that's high. So that makes a lot of sense. But it also gave us a lot of input that we could use directly in our product development efforts. So using that for innovation was...
So how was it? You came to Cebu?
Yeah.
Your first time in Philippines?
Yes.
And you have one mission, and there was only you, yes? Or was someone else?
Yeah, so it was me from the company, and along me, I brought Stine, my wife, who you have met today, and she was traveling with me. We had a great time during those months in the Philippines.
What do you start with?
Well,
the first, for me, I would think the first thing, internet problems.
Yeah.
Reliability of internet. So
that was not. That was actually.
You would go.
It was actually not a big problem.
Yes.
We had some outages from time to time. One of the first things I remember that we did was to make sure that at the office space where we were had 2 independent internet deliveries.
Oh, very nice.
Because
so 2 different lines. Yes.
That would not. That didn't mean that there were no outages ever, but it did really bring it significantly down. Power outages was not. Maybe it happened one time or two during that period when I was there, but it was not something that we saw very often.
Yeah, but mostly it is for people who are working from home than internet connection. Yes. So in professional environments, I don't think it should.
No. It's
so 2 lines, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to find the premises?
Well, that preparations had been going on for some time before I joined, and we started finding one place where we were renting some offices from another company, and then when we outgrew those offices, we were able to move into a new building that was being built on the other side of the street, where we were able to rent a whole floor. Of that
open plan or offices?
So it was a combination, mostly open plan, but because the other office that we rented to begin with, those were small-ish offices.
Yes.
And I know that there's a lot of talk about open office or not.
I love it. I love
me
them.
too. I mean, especially in a customer service environment, it gives so much energy. Of course, you need to be able to be in that as an employee. And I acknowledge the fact that there are some people who are drained of energy from that, but we figured out a way to have these noise cancelling headphones for these, and then it's fine, because there's And we could see that very clearly from when we came down there and we had these small divided offices, and then when we moved to the other office, there were a lot more happy environment, and people were just having a smile on their face, much more compared to when we had those. So it was mainly one big environment for the support.
How big was the open space?
I don't remember. To be
50 people?
No, not at that time.
20?
Was it because they were working in shifts?
Yes.
So there might have been like 30 or
30. Yes.
30, 40.
If you had to plan, let us say, not let us say, at some point Nikki will grow.
Yeah.
Will grow like super big.
For sure. Yes.
Absolutely. Like the product is awesome. Seriously awesome. And do you consider having a support center in Philippines?
Yes, no doubt.
Is it Philippines or some other country, or Philippines?
No, I think it could definitely be Philippines. As a matter of fact, we just signed last week. I just signed last week, not with customer support, but with a sales team that is doing appointment settings for us. And that team is Philippine based. Based in Cebu as well. And
very nice. The price?
But it was very reasonable, indeed. It's difficult
if
to.
You can, of course. Yes.
Yeah, but it's actually difficult to mention pricing in a way where it makes sense, because it comes into how many people are working on that particular project. What about project managers, and how many hours are they working, and so on. But I can just say that it is a reasonable pricing, and we haven't started yet, but we will run, and I will urge everyone to do so that are considering to do a project like that. We will run a 3-month trial period where we will gain a lot of knowledge and experience, because you need to look at what you're trying to do with that team, but also, of course, how they perform. So the team could be wrong, a wrong match with the product that you have.
Yes.
Maybe your training is not good enough. Maybe they are not good enough at doing what they are supposed to do. So there are so many areas where the match might not be the right match. So we are doing a 3-month period where we will work very focused, both them, but especially from our side, where we will give them all the details that they need, helping them to understand the product, helping them to, whenever, because that will happen, they will have conversations where there are questions they can't answer, be ready to support them, basically. So yeah, in 3 months we can talk again, and I'll let you know how that went.
Wow, impressive.
Thank you.
Seriously impressive. Like,
it's a very, very interesting project, because of course
you yourself cannot do everything.
No, exactly. And we are at a level now where what we need is to put the customer acquisition on automation, and we need to make sure that we gain enough resellers and enough new customers to have that upwards going trend. And this is a new, very, very similar to back in the early 2000s.
Yes.
This crypto, and the fact that you can not only use crypto to invest in these risky investment, you can also use crypto as a currency to pay with. And that is new to a lot of people, and it's new to businesses. And I have been talking to, I don't know how many businesses that have said to me, Thomas, receiving crypto as a business, we can't handle that. That is too much effort. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. There's so much crypto out there. Yeah. So much crypto, and those people physically cannot spend it.
No, exactly.
They cannot spend it.
That's true.
I have seen IT professionals who are afraid to send Bitcoin payment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is too complicated.
Yeah.
And people have crypto, they cannot spend it. Yeah. And your solution allows anyone to implement it and make it simple for your users.
Thank you.
Without making a single mistake.
Yeah.
To receive a payment or to make a payment. Oh, come on, that's
it.
Can I ask you,
Yes.
where did you get your business education? Is it self-learned or like?
Now you're bringing me out on on a limb here. Thank you for asking the question, because I think it's actually really relevant, because it's tied to something I believe deeply in, the fact that if you have an idea, go for it. Don't wait for the right moment. Don't wait for the education. Don't all of this. I support education a lot, and I now have my oldest daughter is turning 17 in a month from now, and she's in high school, and I want her to study on and
go
so
to
on.
university.
Yeah, and I support that.
Though we have to add to American viewers that educational system in Europe is totally different from America.
Yes, and in Denmark maybe even more, because everything is paid for.
It's basically it's free.
Yes, it's free. So
sorry, Americans.
we pay the taxes, and then you can go to all the schools until you, even a PhD.
Yes. Where is she gonna go?
She doesn't know that for sure yet.
She doesn't. Okay, so returning to you.
Yes. So just to have that disclaimer, fully supportive of education. I don't have any more education than a business high school. So I have business high school, and then I started on the business university, but I didn't finish.
Okay. So you joined the university to study business?
Yes.
How many years did you complete? 1, 2?
Was that what equals to 1 year, I think?
Okay. Yes.
And I started that. So I finished the business high school, and then
What is it? So ordinary high schools, I understand. Secondary schools, high schools, but then business high school.
Yeah, that was a high school that is especially focused on business. So you would learn things like accounting and marketing plans and go-to-market strategies and all of this business.
Is it something unique to Denmark?
It might be. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't know if that is an opportunity other places in the world.
I've heard, of course. I've heard lots of there are technical colleges. Like people can become plasterers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or become nurses and without going to the specific universities.
Yes.
But in your case, business. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that, and during those years, I already had founded my first company at that time, and I founded another one during those years. And then when we finished, I started working with those companies full time.
Okay.
And then at some point I thought, okay, I might want to educate myself a little bit more. Yes. And I started on that business university. And then that was actually just before I returned in 2007 to one.com. So I only completed 1 year because then I was too busy.
Okay, so then you decided to actually return to education and took a degree, signed up for a degree on business university.
Yeah, but
also here in Denmark.
Also here in Denmark, but I didn't complete.
And then, okay.
Yeah. So that's
I can't complete my Python course.
No.
Oh God, I've restarted it maybe 4 or 5 stars.
Yeah.
Five times. Seriously, there is no time for it.
No. And of course, if you would prioritize it, there would be time, and that's the same with me. Of course, I could have prioritized differently. But I didn't. And I think my learnings throughout the past 20-25 years is that, well, as I said before, don't wait. Just jump out to it. If you have an idea, just do it, especially if it's something online where you can start something at a relatively low cost. Go for it. And you'll most likely will fail a couple of times. But
that's okay.
That's fine.
That's part of the process. And how do you self-educate?
Yeah, I watch a lot of streams. I hear a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of material.
Which is your
online.
favorite podcast?
Oh, that's probably, or that is a Danish one that has nothing to do with technology. Okay. It's a political podcast I enjoy listening to. So that's not
political.
That's political podcast. Yeah.
Left or right?
It's a mix. So that's what makes this really interesting. What they do is that it's a former minister of government that we had a couple of years back. He is interviewing other former ministers. but that's the only guests that he has, and it's
Yes.
from both sides of the parliament. So he covers not political areas specifically, but more the system of how a government is working,
Wow.
which I think is more interesting than a.
So professional host, like super professional
Yes.
with professional guests.
Yeah.
And what about business podcasts?
Yeah, I don't have anyone that I can mention, but I listen to various. But I don't have specific favorites that I.
Your favorite audiobooks?
Audiobooks. Well, I'm not that good at using enough
okay.
time to
Yes,
complete
yes.
the audiobooks, but I read from time to time, or at least I read during vacations, or I try to. But that's a goal
Vacations.
I have.
Do you
Yeah.
get vacations?
Yeah, sometimes.
Or
But
is it enforced by Tina?
Yeah,
Is it?
and it's
Yes.
no, it's not enforced. I don't know.
No. In a good way. In
Yeah.
a good way. Like we men, we are horrible. We are
She would
horrible.
probably say
Just
this.
allow us to work as much as we can, and we will.
Yeah,
We
I
need
did.
an outside force
Yeah.
to come and interpret for us to be happy.
That is true. And I did, and I did work as well during our last summer vacation. But I had a book with me called The $1 Million Weekend. You know that
Okay.
one? And it's
It is by Noah Keegan.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually love his podcasts.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's a nice one. And I think
Video streams on YouTube as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And that book is very much how I have lived my life in terms of businesses, and I found it very inspiring.
It's a good book. That is one of the books I haven't.
You need to read that.
Bought it. I really like Noah Keegan's interviews. He goes to wealthy people and puts up like stupid cap and like horrible mustache, and maybe he does it in purpose so that people don't know that he actually runs a super impressive business that is gonna go public very soon.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't know. But the book is.
But that book focuses on everyone can start a business, obviously, but it focuses on what kind of framework could you use. Okay. So it's a suggestion to how to use a framework to get started, because many people, they're like, some people say, okay, I would like to start a business because I find that fascinating. Then there's the people that has a great idea, and they're like, I would really love to turn that into a business, and they are passionate about it, and which is great. That's I think that's important. But then many people, they overthink that. And that book provides a framework for even for those people who doesn't have an idea, but just have the passion, like I want to do this.
Yes.
But also the people that has an idea but can't really figure out how to structure taking that from the idea and into an actual business, taking those first steps, getting that first customer, turning that into those 5 customers. And what he presents in the book is a complete framework for how to brainstorm into an idea, how to validate that idea, and how to gain the first customer that wants to pay, because that is what he says.
Absolutely. It is always about the paying customer.
Paying customer in 1 weekend.
Yeah.
36 hours.
One of his latest streams was or YouTube videos was about how to build up a business over weekend, and it was about event business. Okay. And I am into events.
Mm-hmm. It's not possible.
And what he told her was utter rubbish.
Yeah.
And sadly, and sometimes you respect person so much.
Yeah.
And for us, for Host Maria, AppSumo was a godsend. It was the best thing I stumbled upon ever.
Yeah.
We sold 10,000 coupons.
Yeah.
And that is the place where we actually got our first huge input of real customers.
Yeah.
There was no other place.
No.
Like,
I think
and one person talking about something they haven't got a clue, although he just destroys your whole respect toward him. It is so strange.
That's a shame. It's both strange, but it's also really a shame. The way I see the book is that what you should really take out from that book is the ground mindset.
Yes.
and of course, some of what he's told was, not, at least to my best experience, rubbish.
No, but
the mindset.
No, of course, the guy is great.
The mindset, I think, is important.
It is like very bright green color.
That's true.
Yes. I keep seeing it. Okay, I will definitely buy it. I will listen to it. I will start listening to it on the flight. On the flight back.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, please do. Right.
Any other books?
No.
That you really, really like?
No.
What are the things you struggle with? For example, me myself.
Yeah.
I struggle sometimes with sending invoices. I provide services free of charge, and people who know me, they know they can abuse it. Many will not abuse it, and some will abuse it.
Yeah.
So
getting to that point where
taking actually money.
Yeah.
That is my background, coming from former USSR, and I have my book's go-to book. There is a Rabbi Levin or something, "Thou shalt prosper," like a Jewish perspective on the money. And I keep diving into that book, and he returns my brain into the thing that money is actually not evil, and
that's true.
So what are the things that you would struggle with?
Yeah, so I would definitely not struggle with that, and I think that it's so central that revenue, a stream of revenue in some sort, is the most important part. I think where I struggle is where you thrive. I struggle in those sales situations where I need to sell my product into someone, especially if it's someone who are a little bit on the fence. So breaking down those fences, coming up with those exact that pitch that really breaks through those fences. I struggle on that.
Thank you for the compliment. I was always horrible with sales.
Really?
Always horrible with there is a book for me for that.
Yeah. Which one is that?
It is Zig Ziglar's book. Have you heard of Zig Ziglar?
Yes.
And now I'm listening to psychopaths, surrounded by psychopaths. I keep returning to this book. Now, it is all about the different types of people.
Got it.
And that guy is Secrets of Closing the Sale, Zig Ziglar.
Okay.
It is like my number one go-to sales book, really.
I'll need to.
Also, I struggle with it. It keeps reminding about the importance of invoices, of making sales, doing sales.
Yeah.
That is one of the main ways how I struggle. And it helps me actually selling.
I need to dive into that. And one other thing I do very much is to surround myself with people who are skilled at exactly that. I enjoy our conversations. I've been visiting your event in London as well. And I also very much enjoy working together with our co-CEO in Nikki, Lars Jensen. Yes. Because one of the things that I have the utmost respect and I was very impressed.
Is insanely awesome.
He is that in general.
Yes.
But his sales skills are at a level where I cannot compete in any way, but I can learn so much. So working together closely with someone where you can learn a lot of things in an area where you are not thriving that much, and it doesn't feel natural for me. So he have moved me a lot in that area. So
Lars, I really like Lars, but I like many people, and
that's true.
And Lars is, I know only like 2 or 3 people in our industry. Who was the guy? I keep always forgetting the guy who sold Uni to GoDaddy. What was that?
Oh, Frank Schilling.
Frank Schilling, yes. I heard once that he was called Silk Voice. And his sales approach, he's so mild and non-aggressive, but at the same time, he gets to the point and he sells. And it is like I see it more as a silk scarf, just as a python. It goes around you and there is no escape. And he does it beautifully and without destroying you. It is all for you. And I see Lars exactly the same. So I would say there are only something unique with that approach.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I think it's you're right about the approach, but it's also again back to mindset. Always he's sticking to that mindset. It's not this always be closing thing, but it is the mindset of all the time thinking about opportunities and pushing on those opportunities, following up.
you always follow up.
Yeah. Thank you. I learned.
Lars, if you are watching,
I learned from the best.
Thomas does follow up much more than you, buddy.
I learned from the best. I think it's a matter of how you work, and if you work with that mindset and you keep remembering it.
I really like your
morning.
sales approach. Really.
Thank you.
You are one of those very, very few who will go like, I started using your product and you wanted to know, and you took the feedback and you acted on the feedback. You kept improving it, and you made me a hardcore fan. Seriously. And now it is just a question of if it is financially, like if it makes financial sense, nothing else. And I don't actually want to have any other solution. Just really.
Yeah, great.
And we have like two other systems implemented. One was removed already. Yes. So only one remains.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Cool. I'm happy to hear that.
So you're good at it.
So I try to gain more knowledge and learn more on that area. But yeah, you asked where I'm struggling. That's definitely it.
So you want to be even more effective.
Yes,
with sales.
Yes, I do. I think it's so important. The most important thing, because sales is all about getting your product out there. And I mean, if you sit in your basement like this all day and you don't,
they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they will not, right?
Absolutely not. They don't care.
And then you can have.
Busy. They're busy with other things.
Yeah, and then you can have the greatest product on earth, but no one will know about it.
They will not come.
And no one will buy it.
And even if they know, it is not enough for them to know.
It's not. No. You need to, when they know, you also need to make sure that they are well educated to the level where they fell in love with the product, basically, and buys it. And
they need to try it.
Yeah.
And they need to try it.
And then afterwards, of course, they need to stay. They need to stay in love, because churning customers are the worst. I don't like that. That's why I thought the win back.
Why do you not like it?
No, well, because like churning employees, I think that if a customer finds something that is better than what you can offer them, they should go. And the same with an employee. They might end up in a situation where they find something that is a better match for them, because things change.
Okay, let us say. So this is your phone, yes?
It is.
So we can see iPhone. There are better phones than iPhones.
No.
Yes, they are. And I'm using iPhone as well. There are definitely better phones.
Technically. Maybe. I don't know.
And still, me and you, so.
And maybe even...
and cameras are better.
Yeah. In my...
but for yeah, sorry.
Yeah, in my situation, it's what you just heard me say was that I just said no. And then I wanted to say that, well, I have not used the time looking into it. I have just blindly been following my iPhone for the past 10 years. And I can't imagine myself change that. I can't. But yeah, back to the thought about that if customers find something else, they should change. I would never be angry receiving a cancellation of an agreement with a customer. They should move, and I also believe that if you run a subscription service, a lot of the viewers probably does, you need to make sure that it's easy for the customers to get out. Yeah, because there's not anything worse than a subscription service where it's utterly difficult to get out of that.
Canva is one of them.
Yeah. I don't know how difficult that is, but that's a shame.
I took a Teams subscription for Canva. though they saved my ass during the domain summit, the last one. Really.
So thumbs up.
Whatever they do, even if they will somehow mistakenly charge me with $1,000, let us say somehow, I even reply to them, okay, it is really sad, it is very strange that I did cancel my subscription, but you guys taken the money again, but please don't get angry. I know that on the other side there is a customer support person. You guys saved my ass so big time you cannot even imagine. So I will be always grateful for that. So whatever happens after that, I'll take it as.
But that is very well connected to one of the pillars that I'm working with in terms of customer support. Because if you have given that experience to a customer once, he will never leave. He will never leave, or at least it will be very unlikely.
Yes, and then the other product has to be really like 10 times better than yours, not just slightly.
No,
not just slightly. Yes,
but again, I think if they find something better, they should leave, and then I think it's up to you as a company to make sure. Again, back to the sales talk. You need to make sure that your customers all the time understands what it is that you are doing, what improvements have you done. If you increase prices because you have to from time to time because of inflation and other stuff, you need to make sure to explain why are you increasing prices in a way where you don't sugarcoat it and try to
Can I ask you about increasing prices? Recently, our colleague made a LinkedIn post asking many of hosting industry.
That's true.
Do you remember?
I saw that, yeah.
And was I the only one who said that we absorb the costs and we don't decrease it? What do you think yourself about increasing the prices?
I think it's perfectly fine that you increase prices. I didn't see your comment. To just put in a disclaimer. I think that when you increase prices on a product that is like almost commodity or a product that many people are using.
Yes. So let's say hosting companies these days.
They need to be.
Why do they increase prices?
So one reason for increasing prices is obviously the increasing costs, because you do have increased cost on staff.
Really? That big?
Yeah. Really that big? It depends, because you have probably noticed hosting companies increasing prices with like 300%, 400%, 500% or even more.
Okay, which level of the stuff then is it?
So that is it.
Yes,
some
but
of them
which level of the stuff is it?
So you're asking which level of the staff are having increased?
Yes, of course. Well, C-level, yes.
Yeah, but it could be all over. So if you have a huge organization, you would have increased staffing costs all across the board, from customer support to high-level software developers.
Okay, but then again, your customer base keeps growing.
But you need the same margin on every customer.
Okay, the hardware costs go actually down.
Yeah. I don't have it's a long time since I was running a hosting company, so I don't have the numbers by head. But I think it's possible to take the discussion elsewhere, because I think what you are thinking about is those extreme price increases, and I think that they are stupid. Is that a right word? I think it's.
Let's hope nobody gets offended.
Yes, let's hope so. But I think we will see at some point that people get enough annoyed by this to transfer their subscription. If we just go into something, I just want to make one remark about hosting companies and churn in hosting companies, because all subscription companies have churns. Hosting companies have churn as well, but it's often a bit lower, or it's lower in the sense that the majority of the churn that you would typically have as a hosting company would be customers that cancel their subscription because they don't need it anymore.
Okay.
We looked into that, so we did a number of surveys back at my time in One.com, and what we saw was the majority, like up until all the way up to around 70%, was because they don't need it. And if you don't need it, you can still try to do something about that, of course, but you will see them churn anyway. And then there are a small portion back that would churn for other reasons. And my reason for mentioning this is that the reason why you don't see many people churning for other reasons than they don't need it, and if it is for another reason, they need to transfer their domain and their hosting to another provider. And that is what I want to talk about, because that action, transferring your hosting, your email account, your email, all your data, all your settings, it's
complicated,
almost impossible for people with a technical level that is
absolutely. And it potentially creates so much stress. Just the thought by itself creates so much stress. So customers just accept it. Price increase.
And now I want to go into the fact that I think you are annoyed with the fact the situation where hosting companies, and they use it.
Yes, they exploit it. That's the word. They exploit it.
And that, I think, it is like, we have an expression, at least in Danish, like pissing in your pants. I don't know if that is
okay.
This will be good for them right now, and it's good for them, especially just before they are being acquired. Maybe it's good. It's good to boost up your ARPU. I think it's a matter of time before the technology allows those users to transfer to another provider much easier. We have already seen some services where it's easier to transfer your mail, but it haven't really. It
is so complex. Yes,
it is.
You still need to understand.
You need to. But I think
your credentials and everything, and for most people, it is.
But with the rise of AI, we will see that services helping you.
That's an interesting thought. So with the rise of technology itself, once it will be super easy to move.
When it's super easy to move, it will be a huge problem for those companies, hosting companies that have increased dramatically, because it is too expensive now.
And what do you think about the domain name industry and its pricings?
I don't think much about domain name pricing. The pricing in domain name industry.
Well, there are companies who sell it under the wholesale price. So
hosting and domain companies selling below wholesale price. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's I can have a
losing money actually with selling the domain.
I can have a thought on that, and that is a customer acquisition method, simply to drop the prices and gain customers from it. So that I would say that what you lose on doing that, you would just mark that as your marketing spend.
Okay.
And I think that's fine.
If you know your numbers, it just means that they know their numbers.
Yeah, I would say.
Do you plan to do some? What is your experience with social media advertising? Your personal experience.
My personal experience with social media is that it have the last couple of years, I think the effect from putting in a lot of effort on social media posts and comments and all of this on your profile, on your company profile, you gain less from it compared to some years back. And for Nikki, we do have social media profiles on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn as well. But I'm always very careful about how much effort, meaning how much cost, are we putting into keeping those alive. I think it's important to have those because it shows whomever are investigating who you are. If you're a new brand, unknown brand, it gives them a view into what kind of company are you, and that can be huge part of the decision-making process in whether you want to engage with that particular company. So I think from that point of view, it's important to keep it alive. I don't think you will acquire that many customers from that channel alone anymore, because it is so increasingly difficult to gain followers, to gain traction on social media these days.
Yes. I've been recently, like, I keep seeing American companies, they have kind of cracked the code, like the same in our industry, in hosting and domains. There are big companies, hosting companies, who come, they buy small hosting companies, and they already know, we will do this, we will merge technical support into ours, we will sort out, they already know, okay, you are using that CMS, we will resolve that one, we will put in our legals, we already know how high we can raise the prices, so the prices will be raised, we'll do that, and the profitability of the company will go bang up there, and then they buy it. And I keep seeing that also Americans kind of work the same way with buying companies, like especially online companies, and they just put this huge marketing budgets into Facebook, especially in Facebook, and they make it a killing somehow.
I think marketing on Facebook is still huge.
Yes.
I think it will.
I haven't managed it. I've tried several times, and I do not get positive return.
I think it's. I think that can be huge if you figure out how to manage it. What I'm thinking about is the organic growth without marketing spend on social media. But social media for marketing, for sure.
Yes,
that can give good outcome.
And before we see the comments, and if you have any questions now for Thomas, you can ask your comments. We'll put them up on the screen, and then I'll put on my glasses. At the moment, they are distractive, so up here on the side.
Got it.
The question: do you ever plan to retire?
No, not
okay. Here's the question. There are types of people who want to exit, and live happy life, and then okay, when I'm 60. I will be traveling around the world. I'll sell my business. And
I would love to travel around the world. And I have
already traveled around.
I was just about to say, Stina and I have been traveling quite a lot, and we would love to continue doing that. And we will do that. Retiring, no. I would be very bored. I love working. Probably sometimes it's a little too much, but I like that. I like the flexibility in my life now, where I can do this podcast with you, and then I have some meetings. Someone would say that this is also work, but I think it's a lot of fun. But then I can do my work in the evening, and it's not a problem. I do a lot of business with US-based companies, and also in South America, and it gives a lot of flexibility into my working life and my day. So I love that.
Quick question: the difference of US businesses and European businesses. What are the main differences?
There's not always a huge difference, but sometimes there is a huge difference.
Absolutely, they're like totally different worlds.
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes they are more like the main differences. I don't know. I think they are more in the US. They tend to be more aggressive in terms of following up. The thing I told you before, I've been learning a lot from Lars, my colleague. I think they are more, in general, they are more skilled at that. Sometimes to the extent where it gets a little bit annoying.
I actually love it from Americans.
But I think they are very skilled at that, and I think it puts them in a position where they get things done. And I think that is it's great. I mean, I work with a number of American companies and individuals as well, and I love the way things are getting done quickly compared to. I also work a lot with Asian-based companies, and even though you are on the customer side, sometimes you need to drag the project forward because it's just not. They are not moving it forward.
Yes.
And I think that's a huge shame. One exception is the guys we're working with in the Philippines now for the call center project. those guys are, but the Philippines are almost always almost also American in many ways. So that's why. But other parts of Asia,
they have the largest US base there. The second official language is English.
Yeah,
that's true. Huge. Yes, they're all fluent and speak English.
Yeah.
Europeans are too slow, no?
Yeah. And we see that also on the bigger scale.
Yeah.
Too slow on technology. I was looking at this view of US technology firms and Asian-based technology firms, and then Europe in the middle, and that's a shame.
And Europe is huge as well.
Yeah.
And lots of people and lots of smart people.
Yeah.
Just something that it is like, it will be fine.
Yes.
And Americans just go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let us see. Okay, so how's everyone? Okay, lead file expense. Okay. Oh, Sam Charles. Okay. Can you give one advice? The guy, Sam, owns cobra.co.uk.
Nice.
One advice for him. How to sell it.
Oh.
Just a quick one. He's one of the he's a professional domain name lister. He does it full time, just in case. Yes. So he does not need your advice.
Oh, that's good. Because I think what I will say to that question, and thanks for asking it, is that one part of the industry that I have been working very, very little with is the domain selling business.
Okay.
So back at my time in one.com, it took us 10 years before we even approached a way where we could handle premium domains.
Okay.
That was not for selling. That was just enabling the customers to buy premium domains from our platform. And I think it's a huge shame, because I think there are some great domains available, both premiums or from the secondary market, as well as premiums from the TLDs, the new GTLDs. So I think it's a shame if you, as a hosting business, are not able to have those as a part of the offering that you offer. But we were a long time before we were able to do that. So my experience within the secondary market as well as the premium domains are very, very limited.
And
so I don't have any good advice. Yeah, it still is.
What if you had to give one advice?
Yeah, again, that would be based on my general approach to business and life, and that would be just go for it. Make sure it's out on all the major platforms, because that is significant. That it's available the places where the end customers are. So putting it out there on those platforms that are integrated with all the big hosting companies, or as many hosting companies as possible, make it more likely, of course, that you are going to succeed in a sale. But I'm sure that it's much more fragmented, this world, and I'm not.
No, that's fine. He has an amazing domain name portfolio. Anyways,
very cool.
So yes, okay. So Joseph, hello everyone. Great content. Okay, not into. Okay, I hate sales. Joseph says, I hate sales, but I'm great. But I'm great at marketing.
Yeah,
is that possible?
Yeah, indeed, it's possible. And I very much follow Joseph. I don't think I'm necessarily great at marketing, but I'm better at marketing than I'm at sales. And again, I told that a bit earlier in our conversation, that I'm trying to gain more experience, and I'm really looking forward to being even better at sales. But I think there are a huge difference in those, where at sales you need to put yourself out there, and
this is a very interesting thought. I never thought about it, actually. Yes, but
and you are risking to get a no. Of course, in marketing you can also get a lot of no's, but you don't know about those no's, do you?
And you don't care. No, marketing is just.
I mean, if you're looking at your numbers, you said it before about marketing on social media, on Facebook. You could look at your numbers and you can see all those no's, hide it in the numbers, but you don't get them up into your face. and I'm not very good at that. Not because I get angry, but or offended or anything like that. But I'm just not very good at keeping up the motivation and the spirit. If I would get a no and a no and a no,
every no has a weight.
And
drop on the weight, like 5 kilos in your pocket, like immediately.
But one thing I learned from reading that book of Noah that we talked about,
$1 Million Beacon,
was that try to turn that around and look at every no as not a weight that you need to carry around, but an opportunity to ask, why do you say no? Why do you say no to me now? But I haven't done that myself. I need to take a deep breath before I do that the first time, I think. But I see the point about looking at every no as an opportunity to gain more knowledge about what did I do wrong here.
No is actually a very curious thing. I actually love no's.
Yeah, he says that as well.
I hate silence.
Yeah, that's the
for
worst
me
thing.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah,
like with the main summit, I went into mindset just because of silences. I accepted silences, and you need to get an answer. And if you get an answer, you know what it is, and then you can. Once a person says no, he says no to a certain proposition. Just look at your proposition. Okay, so he does not want that exact. So can you repack it?
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah. No's are great.
Yeah, that's very true. And if you are skilled at repackaging your offering and you can do it fast, I think you have something good.
And marketing without sales is.
Well, you can do that. I mean, we did that many years.
What can you do with it?
So in
it does not if it does not result in financial outcome.
That will be a problem. But my point is that you can actually have a successful company, especially in the online SaaS space, doing marketing only and no SaaS. Especially if you are looking at a low cost subscription like a hosting company. You can do a lot of online orders just by doing some very skilled marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No sales.
Absolutely. And then the sales, yes. Would it be profitable? Okay. Very good question.
That's a very good. Thank you so much.
And
would it still be possible, to become a hosting company profitable? Yeah, that's a great question. I considered it myself a couple of years back when I decided to make a change. Then I stepped into Niki. I find what we're doing there very, very, very interesting. But I was looking at the opportunity again from the perspective that I think it's my view, at least, that the industry and the customers needs a hosting company that have a much higher level of innovation and figures out how to put together an offering where the prices can be kept low. Not necessarily as low as we had 20 years ago, but where they can be kept low. Because 20 years ago, we started out with an offering at a cost of $1.25, I think.
Okay, yes.
And today, I don't know what that offering is. Is it 10, 20, 30 times as much to begin with? Of course, you always get those.
Go to Host Maria. Yeah, you'll still get those all good prices.
Of course, you always get that.
Sorry, one hosting.
You always get that first year for free and all of that, but it doesn't really work for the customer, because it's not only 1 year. Yeah, maybe you want only 1 year if you put up your business and then you decide to close it down again because that idea was not flying for you. But if you are buying for a business and a long-term relationship, and we established that before, that hosting relationships are for the long term because it's so difficult to move to another provider. If you can bring up a hosting business, you can certainly make it profitable. But I think you can have success in acquiring customers if you figure out that sweet spot where you can still do enough innovation, still have a customer service of a very high quality, and have those prices that at a reasonable level.
Okay, that is for the long run. So I was at domain names Dubai, and one of the conversations that stayed in my mind the most was actually with Kirsten. Kirsten was the name, yes, from Kirsten, who runs .one.
Carsten, yeah.
Kirsten.
Yes.
Fantastic guy.
He's a great guy.
Absolutely fantastic. And we were on a ship, and Munir organized a fantastic party, and there's alcohol, beautiful views, the ship is sailing, people happy, talking business or life. And he just asked me, hey, how's your hosting company? I said, well, it is there, it lives, but my main thing is the main summit and the forums. And he said, why? Today, and now this goes to this question. Today, the simplest way to make money, create a hosting company, grow it to 20,000 users, and sell it for at least 1 million.
True.
This is today's not much speaked secrets.
But if you had that intention when starting to build it,
yes,
you would never build it.
So your thoughts.
Exactly as good as I think the hosting customers of the world deserve. Right? You would
But if a person who watches it, and I know that lots of DN forum or Icon domains users can come to me and say, hey, what does it make to create a hosting company, maybe affiliate or direct, that actually feeds you full time?
Yeah. If your goal is to make money, you could go with that. If your goal is
for Joseph, let us see.
Yeah, you could
and former CEO of one hosting.
So you could go with you could definitely go with that approach. And
so how would you do that?
So to be honest, I've not put much thought into that because I think it's a wrong approach. But I guess I would go for finding those building blocks that are out there. And you know much more about this because you have done it with Host Maria, I guess, using those building blocks, putting together a system with the lowest amount of costs, monthly running costs, and all the services and features that everyone knows.
How would you do that?
I can't answer that question, Helmut, to be honest, because the way we did.
If there was a gun by your head,
I'm sure I could figure it out.
You have half a minute.
Because
it can be wrong.
Yeah,
it can be wrong.
Because it brings me back to when we were founding One.com, we didn't have all those tools available, and I think that the way we did it at that point in time, I would love to see someone do that again. Just a clean slate and say, okay, we need to build up this stuff. But I mean, going out there, finding out what should the product offering look like. You want to offer a website builder, you can find that somewhere. You need a control panel, you need an e-commerce store, you need to make sure that you can buy a huge amount of different domain name TLDs to be able to serve as many customers as possible. And you would want to resell those from one of the big domain resellers out there. Again, to keep your running cost and compliance cost and so on as low as possible. You need a system to do provisioning and billing, and there's a ton of those as well in various qualities out there.
You have to have crypto. We can say, Nikki, that you have to.
You have to have crypto. You need to have
absolutely. And there are, I can definitely say there are users who want to use crypto only. Crypto only.
And that's true. And I think
please implement Dogecoin. Please.
We'll look into that.
I've got one customer for 1.5 years. Her name is she pays on monthly payments. Using Doge.
That's nice. But we'll have to look into that. But in general, offering as many payment methods as possible, crypto included. A recent study I was looking at actually says that 85% of consumers are looking at that. They think it's important that you have as many payment methods as possible.
Okay, so payment gateways then.
And I just want to add one more thing into that, because crypto is one thing, but also those local payment methods available in your country, like Ideal in Holland and Mobile Pay in Denmark and Sweden, and making sure that you support those local payment methods, because it's for many people, buying a hosting subscription needs to be very easy. It's not something you normally think a bit about it though, because you think about what domain do you want. But when you have decided, you need it to be over with. So you need to be able to use your favorite payment method, no doubt about that. And then again, a system to run your customer support so that you can be effective in running that customer support. It's including the online chat support. If you are a sole entrepreneur, you can't obviously offer 24/7 chat support, and then we go into a discussion now maybe about AI support, because I think there's a huge issue in that.
No, for me it is a big, but
it's a big no.
But yes,
let me say one thing, because I think one thing that AI support can do is that they can take all those, or at least they can do that today. They can take all those trivial questions like, where do I find the guide to set up my Outlook? And all of those.
Absolutely.
But what you just need to make sure is that if you have that AI bot, make sure again that it's not difficult to get to talk to a human. Because if you try to hide your humans, and we have seen examples of that, it's very similar to hiding the cancellation link. If you do that, if you make it more difficult for people to get in touch with a human, that's a problem. But I think it can help you. As back to Joseph's question, as a new small hosting company, it can help you a lot and lower your customer support costs, I would say.
Finding that, then bundling it together.
Yeah.
How would you start marketing it?
Yeah, the marketing.
How would you?
I would.
Zero customers.
Zero customers. I would go for affiliate marketing to begin with. Obviously, that is an area that might be difficult to get knowledgeable about and get experience within, but I think that it's so strong because you don't have you only pay for value. And I have seen even when One.com was a big company, I would assume that they are still using, but I don't know, affiliate networks to market themselves. I think it's very strong because
this is how Bluehost, I think, grew, like big time. They signed huge affiliate contracts, huge, with the YouTubers and something. And
I think you're right.
Sorry,
and I would go for that as well. And again, keeping your costs down in the way that if you are not yourself a marketing expert within setting up Facebook ads and Google and so on, you will get a huge benefit from working together with affiliates that doesn't make anything else but that, and you would not have to hire in help to do that for you. So I would go with that in terms of marketing.
Okay, and then let us say Joseph manages to grow up to 20,000. How to sell it?
Don't sell it. Keep it. I'm not a fan of hosting companies built for being sold, but okay.
Well, but in reality, this is
Yes.
All right. I also don't sell anything.
No.
But I think that is unhealthy, and I keep meeting people who come to me and say, Helmut, that is not okay to think it that way. You really need to rethink life. Like I'm saying, I'm not selling anything. One guy out like a joke came to me and said, I'll give you 4 million pounds for Aiken domains. I immediately said, I didn't wait half a minute. I said no.
I would have said yes to that.
Exactly, but that's insane. Yes. So,
but okay. I mean, right now, and I think that will continue for a while. There's a huge interest in the industry, in the hosting space, to do acquisitions still. And there are the bigger players who will probably not look at a 20,000 user base. But there are players around Europe as well, like You Online, for example. They are doing acquisitions in that area, I believe. Maybe some of the bigger players would also do that in certain markets. So doing your due diligence before you select your market. For many people, it would be natural to select the market where you live. But maybe it would be better to look at the Finnish market, or a market where it's currently difficult maybe for the bigger players to get a significant market share. And there can be all sorts of different reasons to why that is. And I know that that Finland have been difficult for many people, but that is because of the language. And if you are not Finnish, it will probably also be difficult for you to gain market share there.
They have two official languages. They have Swedish as well.
They do. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes.
That's right. That's right.
But do they speak all Swedish?
No, not very good.
I've actually heard that in Swedish parts of Finland, there are a few villages that they speak only Swedish.
Okay, I think
they
that's
are
true.
offended if you speak to them in Finnish.
In Finnish, okay. Yeah, that could be true.
Could
Interesting. Be. Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, this region is really strange.
Yeah,
I love it.
but figuring out where can you succeed? Maybe even focusing on serving a specific niche with hosting could be a way for you to shortcut yourself into a market share. That could be, let's say, you want to build up hosting for physical therapists, for example, or whomever that could be, and building a niche hosting company could be something to consider. But yeah, then I think that's it.
And then is it realistic? 1 million for a 20,000 hosting company? Is that realistic?
I wouldn't be able to say, to be very honest.
Well, but then, yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know the acquisition numbers right now.
If Kirsten said it, then it should be.
I guess.
Probably, yes. Yeah. So here you go, guys. It is doable, maybe. Okay. How can I scale my business?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Okay, Elita.
That's a big question. I think starting, how can you scale your business? Because I mean, before you can scale it, you need to make sure to have a very, very strong foundation. And that foundation is what you need to build your scale on top.
Okay.
So that's my point, is that you need to make sure that is in place. And then, but that's not really the question. The question is how to scale it afterwards. And again, marketing is a crucial part of that. If you have your foundation in place, if you have your team, if you have your product and everything in place, then you need to scale with marketing. And marketing can be many things. Marketing can be paid marketing on a number of channels, affiliate being one of them, but that has a cost to it. And if you don't have those money to invest, you need to think differently. And then you need to look into what can you do organically that doesn't have a cost associated, except your time maybe. And you could be looking at PR activities. You could be looking at, again, if it's a niche, you could be looking into how can you serve that niche by creating content that would be found by search engines or found by AI. Like,
so, for example, do live streams.
Yeah.
Go around the world, travel around the world, find your industry professionals, do live streams, publish them on your channel. And
that's a very good example. Of course, it has some cost to it, because as we talked about before we started recording, you could also have stayed at home and called me on
not this year anymore.
Exactly. So
the competition does it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But of course, it has
no value to it anymore. That as much.
Yeah, but that's probably true. But back to the question about scaling. You would need to find out how to market your
Can I ask you,
product.
If you make a decision to scale big time, like if you not scaling, let us say I have 1,000 users, I want to go to 2,000. No, if I want to scale from 1,000 to 100,000 people, do I need to rethink changing most of my stuff?
I hope not, because, I would expect that
accountants, stuff like that, like hardcore.
Yeah, but I would expect that if you had that mission, you probably have had that for some time, and you would have had that in the back of your mind when hiring for these different positions. I would not expect that you would need to change that staff, but of course you would need to increase the amount of staff members to be able to serve all those new customers.
How was it with one group or one hosting group? What was their experience or your experience of CEOs Did you, at some point, bring in a professional CEO?
Yeah. So
Is
now
it a publicly traded company? Sorry, I haven't.
Nah, to the best of my knowledge, is not at the time being.
Yes.
I left the company before it became Group One. So
Okay,
when I
yes.
was at the company, it was one.com. It was one brand. It was one company
Yes.
only, the CEO was the founder.
Your friend, yes.
Yes. Since then, they have changed CEOs 2 times, 3 times, or something like that. But they have changed.
Why?
And I don't know, because
You don't know.
I left the company.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think you need to look at changing CEO if you want to, just because you want to grow your company to 100,000 to 1 million customers in that space. But you probably need to change CEO if you're looking at doing a lot of merger and acquisitions, for example. If you're looking at being acquired, you need someone with experience within that field. But in terms of building a big hosting business, that could easily just be
I'm
the
just
same
thinking,
CEO.
for example, I'm a great cook. In real life, I'm horrible. I can boil an egg. I can make out of a soup out of everything, but God knows how it will. So, but let us say I'm a great cook. I can cook for my family, for my friends, but I cannot run a restaurant.
True.
And if I wanted to take my kitchen, my small kitchen, maybe I'm selling some soups or something to people. If I want to go to a larger scale, I cannot be there anymore.
That might be. And as long as you are aware of that, that can be the case. And then you need to find some other people that can do that. I mean, I left the company as well. And I did that because now the company was at a size where they needed other skills within their C-level organization. And it was the right time for me to do something else. And for sure.
Do you still own some shares?
No, I don't.
When you came back, did they give you some shares?
No. Yeah, that's a shame.
That's a shame. Maybe you didn't ask. You needed to sell yourself better.
Maybe we'll keep that for me only. But no.
Okay. AI trend. Hello. In the AI trend, which term has broader appeal for startups and enterprises? Agent or operator? And why? Agent Smith from Madrid.
Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure what this viewer means with this question, but it's a big trend right now to make these AI agents, which in some cases are
large language,
simply automation around some large language models. That's great. I think it's great that we see a lot of opportunities to make use of LLMs, because of course you can go to your ChatGPT or the new DeepSeek, and you can use that, but moving that into making use of it to do some tasks at your business automatically. I think that's great, but you can't do that just from ChatGPT. You would need some automation around it, and I guess that is what the viewer means with
which term has broader appeal?
Yeah, go to Google keyword search and have a look at the data. I think there's probably some data there.
Okay, and for computer using agent, AI domains, which is more valuable?
Good.
We have no answer.
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay. Can I ask you? That was currently the last question. When did one apply for their .1? Were you there or no?
Yeah. I was there. I was the
Really?
one. I was the one with that task, or responsible for that task. But the year, to be honest, I don't
how
remember.
did you come up with the idea and a fantastic TLD, like beyond?
So we found out about this new TTLD round
Yes.
at ICANN, and we obviously we wanted a new one of those TLDs. The reason why we wanted that was because we saw tremendous opportunities in being able to have our own TLD that we could provide. You mentioned before that many hosting companies provide domains at a very low or
Yes,
even below
yes.
below wholesale costs. So we saw an opportunity in being able to operate our own and decide on pricing. Not because we wanted to
Yes.
give ourselves better pricing, because there are rules and compliance about that. So you need to offer the same rules for everyone. But then we could do that. But at least we could decide to run at a very low price.
Yes. Yeah.
Because applying for that domain name, the initial idea was not to make a registry business earning a lot of revenue from that domain name. The initial idea was to be able to use that domain name in all sorts of different projects
And also promoting your own brand.
Promoting the but let's come back to that, because we did actually not only apply for .1, we did apply for a number of different strings.
Really?
And the reason was that we were aware that .1 would obviously be contested, and there would be more people applying for that, or more companies applying for that. And we really, really wanted a TLD so that we could make all those interesting projects, like giving away a free domain name together with the website builder, or stuff like that. So we wanted to apply, and we applied for .1 and .now. .now were acquired by Amazon, I think, to the best of my knowledge.
So Amazon got .now, and you guys got ..
We applied for .1, .now, and .icu, and you know. Lars,
I don't know this. Yeah, I know Lars, and now we come to this one.
Yes. So the way I know Lars is because we applied for .icu, .1, and .now.
Yes.
We got .1 and .icu, but we didn't get .now.
Yes.
And the reason for applying for .now, by the way, is because in Denmark and Sweden and Norway, we have a TLD called .nu, which means now, which means now in English, and that is a popular domain name. TLD, and we wanted to do the same with .now, but we lost that. But we got .1 and .icu, and we launched .1, obviously.
And what was the idea behind .icu?
So the idea with applying for .icu was that we wanted to, besides .1 and .now, we knew that those two were most likely to be contested. There would be more people interested in those. Then we figured out ICU is a short TLD.
3 letters.
It's easy to pronounce. ICU, everyone understands that. It has also a meaning, like I see you online. It ticks all the boxes.
Okay. Yes.
But probably, and maybe no one else would apply, and no one else did.
So, and in this case, even if you lose on .1, .now, then no one will go after ICU. Most likely, the energy is not wasted. At least you have something.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Because we did put a lot of effort into applying for these 3 strings. I used, together with my team, a lot of time on that, and we ended up with those 2 strings, and we launched .1. Was it in 16 or 17? I don't remember the year, but that doesn't matter. But we launched it quite fast after we got it. And then we did not launch .icu, and some time passed, and then Lars gave me a call someday, and I knew Lars.
So he actually called you?
Yeah, but I did know Lars a little bit from before, because we were buying all at one.com. We were buying all our South American domains, like the Brazilian domains and Argentina domains, and all those from South America, from his reselling business. So we had been in contact, but then he called me and asked about our plans for that, and we engaged into a long negotiation, figuring out that Lars really wanted that TLD, and we didn't really want to do anything with it in one.com, because we want .1, and we were going with that.
And you've got it, yes.
And we figured out at the end a way where he could acquire that TLD from us, and the rest is history with his registry short dot, who has today a number of different strings, and ICU being one of them. So he took that over, and we continued with working with .1, which was a really interesting project that Carsten, by the way, have taken over.
Yes.
Carsten, you mentioned before, traveling around the world, meeting with all the registrars, signing them on to this new GTLDs. At that time, the new GTLD program was still relatively new for the registrars, signing them on, getting everything to work, and then and then pushing the domain out there. And the approach that we had at the time for .1 domain names was that the price should be kept at a level where it was affordable for most users, but not, with a negative.
Yes.
Negative
How was the
margin.
bidding for .1? Do you remember the application price? 50,000?
So you mean by the end price, or do you mean?
There was a bid closed. It was closed bidding.
Yeah, it was closed. Yeah, it was closed bidding. So I don't. I'm not able to disclose the end price. But when you apply, or at least at that round, when you apply, you pay. I think it was $125,000 to begin with, as an application fee. And
so you make an application fee, and then you know how many companies are there.
So you make an application, and then if you're the only one and you are approved by ICANN, you will get it. So if there are several applicants, you will go into an auction. I think that might have changed, by the way, to the new round.
It has definitely changed now, yes.
But you will go into an auction, and I don't remember how many. As far as I remember, there were 3 participants in that auction. And it was closed, and I can't disclose the amount.
Yes,
but
how did you celebrate it?
I think we bought a cake. I'm sure we bought a cake.
Just a cake.
I remember it as. Now I remember back. I remember me and Stine baking cake at home with the marzipan, the logo in marzipan on top. We did that, and to all my colleagues at the Copenhagen office. That was how we celebrated it.
What would be your broad idea of if one group made a decision to sell .1? What could be the price?
I have to be very honest. I have no idea at all. I have no idea for 2 reasons. One being that I have not been following the domains under management on .1, so I don't know how many domains they have right now. Secondly, being I have not been following at all the market for new GTLDs, so I don't know. To be completely honest with you.
Oh, beautiful TLD, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I like it as well.
And Lars has found his own way as well.
Yeah,
he's good. They just bought Qpon. Yes,
they did.
With Q and Pon.
Yeah,
yes,
that's a nice one. They have .bond and some others.
CFD,
SBS.
Yes.
Yeah. You'll have to look it up.
CU. Yes. You should go to shore.bond.
That's true.
They are using .bond for themselves. Yes.
Yeah, and they are available on Hostmarie as well. Right?
Yes. And we are actually following their auctions.
Nice.
At the DN forum, we have put up live auction. We are following live auctions, and we are filtering out .coms separate, so you can see a number of auctions, and you would see which auctions are dropping.
Yeah.
And hopefully today it will be finished.
Nice.
We are doing we are integrating live data of majestic.com.
Oh, that's cool.
So now all these auctions will also show the live data, not the historic data. Some companies are buying historic Majestic data, and then they are using it. Now we actually use the API,
the live data.
Yes, and we
that's
display.
Nice. Cool.
And we also display all the short domains that are in auctions. Short domains are always being sold with discounted prices, and they are being used a lot. A lot for spam, but also a lot for starting businesses. So you never know what is what.
That's true.
And they've got a really interesting business model. They are the 5th largest registrar.
Yeah, I think
registry I think, yes.
Yeah, I think they are. And I mean, one thing they have done very much of is actually the organic social media. So they're doing a lot of posts directly to the end customers.
Yes.
And I think that is pretty cool because that's not something you see a lot in this space, where you as a registry go in and educates the end users about how can you use these specific TLDs. If you are running a business, what should you consider in terms of choosing your new domain name and stuff like that.
What is your relationship now with Lars and Shortdot?
So Shortdot is the mother company of Niki, Niki.me.
Is it 100% owned?
No, we have some others.
Are you also
some other
shareholder?
owners as well, and I will be a shareholder as well. And we do have some other shareholders, but one of the central.
You can give me 1%.
Yeah, I can do that.
Can you?
No.
Lars, can you?
But yeah, they are one of the shareholders. Lars is co-CEO of Niki as well. We're working very closely together.
So what is the so who is behind Shortdot?
So Lars is together with some partners.
Michael is their
True.
super smart guy.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Yes. He knows how to keep the distance. I cannot get close to him. You can get close and like when you take two magnets and you can get them close, but at some point you cannot connect them both.
Got it. All right.
He's so good at keeping but he's professional.
He's a busy guy.
He not only and super professional.
Indeed. He needs to be. Yeah.
And I'm very, very well. Everything is very well organized. He's like his team behind him is super good.
Indeed.
Super.
I love those guys.
Super impressive. I have noticed that in Europe, everyone's related. At some point, I had the realization it is like a big Swedish family.
Yeah,
everyone sleeps with everyone.
But it was
like in a business sense.
But it was it was actually more in Sweden back in the days. Now you mentioned Swedish families. It was
it's crazy.
It was very much in Sweden that everyone was affiliated in the hosting industry.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right. It's a small industry.
It is a new realization for me. So could you explain it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can explain it, but I can at least say that I fully agree with you that it is a small industry. I think the industry was 25 years ago founded by some people who were technically very skilled, and they saw some very, very interesting opportunities in this, at that time, very new space. They started some companies. Those companies suddenly grew to be very, very big. Some investment banking people have come in as well, but they are not really a part of the industry. If you look at it, when you go to industry events in this space, those people who are still, after 25 years, a part of those companies are very tight. So
what do you mean very tight?
So whenever you go to an ICANN meeting, you would go out and have, I could go out and have dinner with the CEO of that company and the VP of that company. And even though I'm now a part of a very, very small company, it's because we are tight friends, and we stay that way. And I think it's unique from this business that you stay in close contact with the network that you have, but we are also very welcoming of new people stepping into the industry. But I have noticed that some people have tried to get out and do other stuff. I have done it myself as well.
Yeah.
Then you get sucked in again.
Really?
Because there's nothing.
Those are friends. No colleagues. Yes.
Yeah, it's your friends, but also the fact that there are no other industry that is like that. I mean, we have been witnessing and been a part of building up companies serving the needs of millions of users on the internet over maybe only 10-15 years time period. Being a part of a journey like that, it does something to you, I think, and ties you together as a group, and that's quite unique, I think.
Which are the top 3 companies, European companies, from hosting and domain name industry that impress you the most?
Impress me.
Like they do not have to be the biggest ones.
True.
And and I understand that you have friends and you don't want to insult anyone.
No, I'm
but
sure I won't
somebody who
insult
does it
anyone.
something like, wow.
Yeah, I think that Miss Hosting in Sweden have done some really interesting work. Also growing using affiliate marketing, as we talked about before.
They keep buying lots of companies, and they've relocated the headquarters to Dubai.
I don't know.
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
But they are doing some great stuff. I think also
they are Swedish based. They're originally from Sweden. Yes.
They are originally from Sweden. Yes.
Yes.
I think you are online that I just talked about before in in terms of acquiring. I think their approach about acquiring relatively small hosting companies, not very small, but relatively small, not in the size of the big players, but relatively small hosting companies, keeping, or as far as I know, keeping the original founders in the management, keeping that. Those people that have been investing their soul into these businesses and building them from nothing, keeping those guys on board can be a really great thing. Not for the sake of those founders, because they can probably find something else to do if that was the case. But I think that most of those people, myself included, we love what we did during those years, and we want to keep on doing it if it's possible. And I think the approach that they have, they gain a lot from that, because they keep the innovation inside of the company, because that innovation have built the company they have bought, and if they keep it, they can keep on developing on that innovation. So I think they are doing something great as well. Then you mentioned Michael before from Team Internet. I think Team Internet have done some really great work in this industry the past years, especially on the registry side of things.
Central Link registries.
Yeah, that is amazing. I think Two Cows as well.
Two Cows is American.
It's US based. It's US based, but they have a lot of brands in Europe as well. And I know.
Do they have brands in Europe?
Yeah, they do. They recently bought Askio from Denmark, and they're doing a great job as well. But yeah, you asked for top three.
Okay.
That's it.
Top three. And does Europe stand a chance competing with America and Canada in our space, domains and hosting?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, in the terms of, I don't see US-based hosting companies taking the lead. Understood in the way that it's not, or at least it haven't been possible for a company like GoDaddy to get a serious market share in the local European countries like Denmark, Sweden, Germany even. And I think the reason is that the need for local language support and understanding of the needs from that particular region or country is so important. So it's very difficult to gain market share.
And which European company stands a chance conquering US, American?
Yeah, that's also very difficult. We tried that with one.com at one point. We did, yeah. And we had a local data center in near Washington.
Okay.
And
did you build your own data center?
We didn't build the data center. We rented floor space.
Okay.
But we did put up servers and switches.
So you took racks.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And
Americans
we didn't succeed.
Americans just seem we are so self-protected. We don't want to sell. We are like protective. We kind of have our borders. Americans don't have borders. I really like that about them. I don't care. I will attract investors. And investors are horrible in general. They are sharks who will eat you alive.
Yeah.
Americans are no protection for yourself whatsoever. Let's grow. Let's go. And it takes them to the levels bananas.
Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, we didn't succeed, and we ended up closing that part of the business again and going out.
Strange. Very strange.
a lot of reasons to why that is. I think one of the reasons I can mention that I think that one of the main reasons was that we did not fully understand how we needed to market ourselves in that on that market in order to be competitive, or in order to be the choice of the users. Something else, another way of marketing was needed in order to succeed.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Different approach, absolutely. Yes.
We didn't understand that, unfortunately.
No, you cannot win all the battles.
No, that's true.
But you should not give up.
No, we didn't.
In the biggest markets.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, yeah. We did give up there.
At that point.
At that point.
At that point.
And they haven't done another approach. But
okay. So there is yes. Okay, Mark says thank you. That's AI. The last question. Oh, it is time for us to finish the conversation. And I have a Facebook group with 174,000 members.
Selling Amish cookbooks.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
174,000.
That's a lot. And you know more about Facebook groups than I do, but back in the days, that's huge. I don't know the algorithms and stuff today.
It's horrible.
Yeah,
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like they keep restricting their reach.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
I know Facebook pages. This is Facebook, the groups, and I know these pages of 500,000 followers, real followers.
They are dead.
They put up a post, 5 likes, 4 likes, 1 like, 1 comment, 0 comments.
Yeah, it's a shame, because a lot of communities were actually thriving there.
Yes.
In these.
But it does make sense for Facebook.
Yeah, for sure.
They want to have personal connections. They want to have businesses. They want to take businesses money, but they want to have the timelines. They want to have clean timelines.
That's true.
As clean as possible. And it makes sense. Okay, so the last advice of one of the things maybe you think about. Like we were talking about positivity. I was saying that I always look in the eyes of people if I can see the lines.
Yeah,
that they're
that's
actually
true.
happy in life.
All right. So one advice, so not necessarily for businesses, but just life in general.
Yes.
Because if it was for businesses, I would say consider accepting crypto as a payment method, of course. but let's take that aside. And one advice would definitely be, as I told you before we started up, waking up every day with a positive mindset. It is, I don't know, many are talking about that, but the thing about that, it's really the journey that is worth everything, and I really believe that because you never know where you would end at the end of whatever journey you are doing. Sometimes it goes great, and sometimes it doesn't, and that's fine as well, as long as you have had a lot of fun during the journey. And in order to have fun and to being happy about the everyday life that you have, I think it's so important, or at least it helps me to wake up every day with a positive mindset. So I start every day with a cup of coffee and a smile. That works. That works a lot.
Awesome. Thank you all for watching. And my name is Helmut Meškons. I'm the founder of Domain Summit and Host Maria, a small hosting company. Definitely nothing like one group. Absolutely amazing. Nice. Fantastic. And my thing is, I will be traveling more around the world. I have put halt on all the online calls. I will travel around the world. Like Thomas, thank you for hosting.
Thank you for being here.
Me. And we will record life stories of real people from our industry. And we have great people coming up. So please sign up to DN Forums YouTube channel or wherever you are watching, and just wait for the next one.
I look forward to it, at least. And thank you so much for visiting.
Thomas. Thank you. So it wasn't that bad, no? 2 hours?
No, that was easy.
Very quick.
Very quick, like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day all.